This regular council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Janice, would you lead us in the pledge, please? You'd remain standing for a moment, please. Pastor?
Let's pray together. Our Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this good day. And Lord, the incredible privilege we have to live in a place like this. Thank you, Lord, for just the good things we have and the blessings that we enjoy every day. And Lord, we pray you'd help us to never forget the blessings we've received from you and from living in this country and in this place. We pray, Father, tonight that you would give special wisdom and help to this council and the mayor, that, Lord, you would guide them and lead them in all decisions. And that, Lord, you give them courage to just do always what's right and what is best for the community. We pray, again, that you would just have your way this evening, and we'll give you thanks for it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. All right, Kathy, roll call, please.
Powell.
Here.
Hayes. Here. Barstow.
Here.
Lee.
Here.
Hicken.
Here.
Walther. Carter.
Here.
Okay, we have a quorum present. First thing under the agenda tonight is citizens' comments. Yes, sir. Can I help you? Okay, just hang on for a second. Since we have a number of folks here that wish to speak tonight, I will. We do have a special recognition for someone tonight, but just to make sure that anybody's not pressed for time, I'll let the citizens speak, and then we'll do the proclamation. So, who wishes to speak tonight? You have 5 minutes. Mr. Fox?
Mike Fox, 11540 Broad Street, Southwest Pataskala. I apologize for the hat, but it looks better than what's under there. The wind has been horrendous today, and I've been out in it most of the day. I'm here to speak about the marijuana issue that you guys are discussing here at council. I'm going to start out with that I'm kind of really disappointed. I've spoken to a number of council people, and I'm being told that, you know, we're going to ban it first, and then we're going to go back and put any restrictions that we feel are necessary on it. And I'm thinking to myself, with all due respect, Mr. Zetz, where is our law director? Where is our ordinance that should have been written in the last 3 months while this was being discussed? And why has it happened? And how negative the word banned is to a community that is just, we're fraught for attempting to grab all the economic development that we can. And we are just, we're using the word ban. I think it's a very negative connotation on our community. I think it's wrong, and it shouldn't happen. I vehemently disagree with Mr. Zetz and his opinion on the ordinance that presently is in place. I think that the ordinance that is in place does put it in there. It not only puts it in there, it gives us the ability to put restrictions on it. It's not only that, it's a conditional use. It doesn't give them straight zoning. It doesn't give them anything. We can put our restrictions in, and we can make it happen. In addition to that, and it'll be interesting after I'll tell you this, but in addition to that, there's a 2 3/4% income tax on that site. And you know, some of the worries that council members have stressed is that they can't work with banks. Well, I sent something to everybody in council, and in fact, they can work with banks. And this is from the American Banker. It's an article where, in fact, they can work with banks. And as Bank of America and Wells Fargo and J.P. Morgan Chase and Citigroup originally said they weren't doing business with them, they are, in fact, doing business with them. legislator, the federal government has turned around and limited the powers of the Department of Justice on medical marijuana and only medical marijuana, prohibiting any funds from the DOJ to be used to go after the states and the people in the states that are providing medical marijuana as long as they are following the state's laws. That was August 19th of 2016. A three-judge panel, the 9th District Court, upheld that. And so medical marijuana is been approved by the state of Ohio, and as long as somebody follows it. The other thing is we have worries about taxes. Here's a gentleman from Colorado. Well, guess what? He's paying his taxes. The federal government said if you have a business, you have to pay taxes, even if it's an illegal business and it's medical marijuana. You must still pay taxes. The difference is, which is something for us to be to think about, is out of his $12 million site that he does, normally he could collect, or he could include 1.5 million in deductions, and because it's medical marijuana and it's an illegal substance, he cannot take those deductions. So what does that do for a city like the city of Pataskala? 2.5% right off that extra 1.5 million. I believe it's an economic boom.
1 minute, sir.
I am not afraid, and I know the difference between marijuana and medical marijuana. I can remember sitting here with a few of you, because you weren't all around then, because we have a pretty new council, but a number of us on council were saying, if it were medical, this would be a whole different thing. This is medical, and this is a different thing. I've done an awful lot of work and talked to a lot of people to find out what type of help it does. I don't believe that it cures this or cures that. I don't believe it cures anything. But my own personal doctor of 30 years told me that it's helpful, and that if you have a debilitating disease, it can be very helpful and not have the same side effects that some of the drugs that many of us have to take when we have issues. So I just would encourage council to rethink this ban and think hard about it. And, good luck with it tonight. Thank you, guys.
Mr. Stowers?
First of all, my shaking hasn't got anything to do with me standing here to speak.
Just need your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, well, I live at 361 Eddington Drive, Pataskala, Brooks Edge Housing Development.
Okay.
The city planted trees along the roadway when we moved in 98. They picked the trees and they planted them. The homeowners weren't involved at all, but the roots of them are causing the sidewalk to raise. And not our house is not one of them. I'm just here because my wife's fell quite a few times on other people's property. So, and you say it, I've been told it's the homeowner's responsibility to have it done, and they're not going to do it unless the city makes them. But by rights, the way I look at it, it's the city's responsibility, the sidewalk raising. My wife fell 4 or 5 times. She broke her teeth before, hit her head. I fell once, but like I say, I'm just talking for the housing project because our sidewalks are not raised and we don't have the problem. But I was told by the mayor at a city council meeting that it's the homeowner's responsibility. And I just don't see it. I think it should be the city's problem. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time, and I do have your phone number and address, which I'll turn over to Mr. King and Mr. Haynes, our Public Service Director, and they'll be in touch with you, okay?
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Ann?
Hello, my name is Ann Rogers. I'm at 10932 Mill Street. I'd just like to share some thoughts about the medical marijuana. I was disturbed to learn of some of the comments by some of the members of our council. It would appear that some feel the loss of potential tax dollars to be more important than protecting our most valuable citizens, our children. One member was quoted stating that a prohibition might as well be permanent because they're going to go elsewhere. Another member agreed, stating consideration for potential tax revenue could be lost. Also, that the city currently struggles to attract economic investment, and that a prohibition could reinforce the perception the city is difficult to work with. The same also stated, I want to leave ourselves open for progress and not scare anybody away. Progress, I guess the definition of progress is what is being debated tonight. If you consider large amounts of cash, which equates to opportunity for robbery, theft, money laundering, tax evasion, and other crimes progress, then I disagree with your definition. And what of the struggle to attract economic investment? What do you suppose the root of that struggle is? If all we can acquire are cannabis growers into our city, we are of all cities most miserable. We have already heard promises of tax revenue. The Ohio Lottery, the casinos, both have proven to cost the state more than have benefited. Just look at our own city. Southwest Licking has a 37-year tax levy on its ballot tomorrow. Where are the lottery dollars? Where are the casino dollars? Worthington City Council and Bexley both passed an ordinance to ban these businesses. They use the word ban. Dublin has submitted an amendment to do the same. They also use the word ban. New Albany has just extended their 6-month moratorium. Our friends are currently house shopping in Pataskala. However, they're waiting to find out how you vote on this tonight. Johnstown is no longer an option for them because of the medical marijuana plant. These are the kind of people that would benefit as any city, the kind of people that would actually cause us to have true progress in our city. While I am sympathetic to PTSD sufferers, I have a family member who is a PTSD sufferer, as well as other chronic pain sufferers. Our very own Licking Memorial Hospital anesthesiology department has already helped a patient suffering from PTSD by performing a procedure using a local anesthetic into the area of a certain block of nerves, and it has proven to be wildly successful. Let's not assume that there will never be any treatments other than medical marijuana for pain sufferers. Furthermore, there is already a prescription drug available, and it's not expensive. This is all about money, nothing more. There is a training session available in July, if you're interested, for $249. You can learn all about how to become a medical marijuana dispensary person. $249, and you're going to be standing at the counter dispensing medical marijuana. 4 hours is all it takes. So, they will be helping educate patients on the best product to help them relieve their ailments and letting their patients know what the appropriate usage of that product is and the proper dosage to begin with. These are people off the streets. Oh, and by the way, they cannot put any illegal experience on their resume in the for this application in the medical marijuana industry.
1 minute, please.
Yes, sir. In closing, I'd like to remind you that in 2015 we were considering allowing a medical marijuana research plant right up the road. Fortunately, our city voted against it. Do you know at that time our city was being nicknamed Pawtascala? P-O-T-A-S-K-A-L-A? If we do not ban medical marijuana cultivation in our city with a nickname like that, I can guarantee we'll have the kind of progress you're scared of losing. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? Yes, sir.
Corey Steer, 85 South Main Street. I'm also here to address medical marijuana. I think that you have all voiced your let me start over there. You have all voiced your support for medical marijuana within the city. However, you seem poised to still pass a prohibition, which amazes me. Medical marijuana can treat up to 20 different ailments, including epileptic seizures within children, little children, help relieve their pain. And you had constituents here on the first reading of this ordinance stating how they can't go elsewhere to get it, or it's pointless because they still have to take their current meds, so it doesn't go anywhere. I also think that by banning it within the city, you drive out an entire new industry, not just one business, but the entire industry, and uphold Pawtascala's stereotype of being unfriendly to new businesses coming in. Finally, I would also like to say, of an issue of this importance, I believe that all council should be present to debate it, and with a member absent, I believe that this issue should be tabled and later discussed when everybody's here so that Pawtascala can be fully represented. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? Yes, ma'am. Name and address, and you have 5 minutes, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Jordy Nye. I live at 1123 Taylor Glen Boulevard. Sorry.
All right.
I'm speaking tonight in favor of her allowing medicinal marijuana here at the dispensary here in Pawtascala or within the city limits. I'm able to understand that some of the members of this council do have objections to this topic, but by putting a ban or the labels prohibition on it is not a solution. By putting that label on it, those in our community that are able to benefit from the medicinal uses will have to leave the area and go someplace else to find something to help them. That's money that could be used to fix our our parks, our roads, anything else that this town may need or want. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression. It's hard for me to come out in public most days or to speak publicly. I apologize.
You're doing a good job. Take your time.
The medications I was previously on to help with my anxiety and my depression left me as a shell of who I once was. I was a zombie. My friends didn't recognize me. My family didn't recognize me. Hard. My mom was diagnosed with cancer when I was 3, and I've had to watch her suffer almost every day through pain, through just struggling to get through it. In the past 5 years, she's had a brain aneurysm and 2 strokes. She could barely use the movement on her left side. And due to the medications with some of the cancer and some of the stroke, it's hard to treat both at the same time. Why not let us have an opportunity to explore different treatments that could not only help and benefit us as patients, but also our community to bring more of a flow in. I understand. I can list a million reasons, good or bad, for this, but that's not going to change your mind. I can stand here and speak until my throat is raw or hoarse, but that's not why we're here. Putting a ban or a prohibition on it is not the answer. It's not how to handle it. if you say no on it today, how easily do you think it's going to be to say yes when you guys do make the decision to allow it? I know it's not going to be an overnight occurrence. I know it's not going to be easy. But instead of saying no, why not say yes and at least be able to start exploring the possibilities before even beginning to try? I thank you for your time and allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Ma'am?
My name is Alyssa Baker. I am not a Pataskala resident. I wasn't planning to speak tonight, but I think that listening to two of the past meetings, I feel I have some things to contribute that might help you guys.
What's your address, please, ma'am?
60 Lees Drive, that's Hebron, Ohio. I was one of the founders of Sensible Newark. That was the decriminalization initiative that recently passed in Newark. I also was one of the main people who worked on the campaign here in Pataskala while Issue 3 was happening. I feel confident speaking on behalf of many members of your community because we went door-to-door knocking and speaking to many people who at the time were more in agreement with the medical side, who there was more people who were like, well, if it wasn't recreational, we'd consider this more. But most of the people we did talk to all stated that if this was a medical-only initiative, that they would have voted yes for it. So I kind of feel like that doesn't really have too much prevalence in what we're discussing today, but there are community members out there with strong support for the medical community. In regards to applications for dispensaries, cultivators, processors, one of the stipulations in the application process is actually having a community outreach plan and having reasons to want to be in that community and what they're going to do to improve that community. You cannot have any kind of felonies or criminal background to be certified for one of these applications, and I think that's important to mention. I think you guys should also, like he said, wait for all of your council members to be present to decide on this, and this is a really big issue, and I think it takes more than just a few readings and discussions. A lot of people don't know that this is happening. We've tried, me personally as an advocate, I've tried to reach out to people in your community and let them know this is happening and have them contact you by phone or email to voice their opinion. But I think it's really scary for normal people to come out and talk about marijuana in public, and a lot of people are hesitant to do so in their own communities, and it's even scary for me. I don't live in this community, but I live very close, and I feel as a patient and an advocate that this would benefit me and people that I know as well. Another topic I wanted to bring up, I'm sorry. All right, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak tonight? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to something that I always look forward to. Janice, would you step up to the podium, please? Jamie, why don't you come up here too? Try to address both the council, sorry, and audience. So I was thinking about this today. An analogy came to me about how you have a mall and you have these anchor stores like Macy's and Sears and stuff like that hold the other stores together. And I think about how far we've come as a city in the last 3 or 4 years with the new administration and how we've placed over between the street department, the police department, and the administration and council and law direction and everything else. We've put about 16 new people. What's happening here in the city of Pataskala. We also have our, what I call our anchors, like Janice, Kathy, Tanya, and BJ, and Nate. Nate's not here tonight. I want to make sure. I jotted those down. Janice, BJ, Nate, Kathy, Jamie, Steph. I forgot Steph, and Tanya. Those are the ones that have been here as a foundation to help us build. And I think everybody here appreciates all those folks that have been here all the time. tonight we're honoring you because ever since I can remember, when there's been a tax question or a tax call, everybody said, call Janice. I have her number memorized because when I'm out working and somebody calls and says, hey, I haven't paid my RETA taxes and we don't even take care of RETA. That's somebody else taking care of RETA for us. RETA takes care of our income tax for us. It's another entity, but people still have questions. And sometimes when you're talking to an entity like RETA, you might talk to them 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, and you don't even talk to the same person. We have one person, our own little Rita, right here.
I've been called Rita.
Yep. That has taken care of many, many things throughout the city for many, many years. And it's time for proclamation. All right? One of the responsibilities and privileges of the mayor of the city of Pataskala, Ohio, to recognize people and events of outstanding worthiness. And Janice Smith Savage started with the city of Pataskala on July 17th, 1995. Is that correct? And Janice has served in multiple management positions within the city, including running the Parks and Recs Department as the Parks Manager and currently as the Finance Manager. She is responsible for processing payroll, coordinating with insurance providers on employee issues, processing all aspects of accounts payable, and Janice is the key local contact for income tax issues from any resident that has any questions or concerns. Janice has gone above and beyond her position requirements with her hard work, understanding, kindness, and willingness to help others, even if it means just lending an ear. So now, therefore, I, Michael W. Compton, Mayor of the City of Pataskala, Ohio, do hereby proclaim a heartfelt thank you to Janice Ann Smith Savage. And knowing you like I do, this is a gift certificate to your favorite bakery. All right?
We know what that is.
All right. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you.
And you can go home now. Yes.
Well, yes, I have a house to clean up after I had painters there before my husband gets home, because he doesn't know I did it.
We just have one quick tax question for you. Just kidding. Thank you very much. And good night. See, she was all ready to answer my
Just
question.
kidding.
Unbelievable. Thank you very much. Congratulations. Okay. Introduction, discussion, and approval of consent agenda matters.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hicken. Kathy, when you're ready.
Howe,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicken,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Consent agenda passes. On to reports. Heard from, didn't get an answer from Jason today. Maybe Alan can help me with this, but Jessica told me that she had handed out over 100 bags for our city cleanup, which is way up from last year. Do you know how many bags approximately might have been picked up? I do not. Okay, because I know they're still picking them up because we extended it through the weekend. So if she gave out that many bags, then we've probably doubled what we did last year. So we've had some good weather, and kudos to Earth Day and cleaning up the city. So thank you for your guys for picking up the bags, and I appreciate that. Let's see. You'll have some information on us for the drug take back, right? Okay, very good. We'll wait till that happens. Let's see. This is the time of year that we need to, Jersey Baptist Church is, of course, planning their week of care again, and that's going to be on between June 4th and June 10th, and they're looking for projects. So please reach out to your constituents and residents to see if anybody needs a wheelchair ramp, any roofing. They prefer single story on the roofing, but any small projects. I've passed that on to Parks and Recs too, if we need anything in that area. So if you have any projects, please let me know so I can pass that on to the church. National Day of Prayer will be this Thursday at Liberty Christian Church, 7 o'clock, Pastor?
Liberty Christian Academy.
I'm sorry, Liberty Christian Academy. Okay, 7 o'clock. Just heard today the young lady and the Jones family that's been working on cones and concoctions is going to have their grand opening on Saturday at 10:30. So that's May 6th at 10:30 at Cones and Concoctions. Anybody likes to come down for a little ribbon cutting, and I'm sure there'll be some free ice cream, so come hungry.
What would you said free ice cream? What day was that again?
Sorry, no take
All
backs.
right.
Let's see. And Liberty Christian, by the way, is having an open house on May 3rd from 9 to 11 and May 9th from 6 to 8. And all are welcome. That's all I have, Mr. Hicken.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have two items tonight. The first one is a reminder for council about next Monday's workshop with the Parks and Recreation Department. I know I have another event that evening, so I'm going to take advantage of their request or offer to submit questions to them. A reminder that council is all free to do that and show up and have the give and take of the workshop, which I look forward to participating in, even though I might have to leave early. The other one is that evaluations are into me. I thank all council members for that. I have put the scores in, and this is the evaluations of the law director, our finance director, and our city administrator. Council evaluates these individuals at this time once a year. That was started last year. We're not reinventing the wheel this time, so I think it's going to go a little bit faster. I would look for the HR committee, which is Mr. Lee, Mr. Barstow, and myself, to meet before the next meeting in May. And like I said, since we broke ground last year on how to go about this, we're pretty clear with it. I would look for a member of that committee to be sitting down with each of the individuals as if you request it, again, sometime in May. So I thank everybody for getting their evaluations to me, and that's the last thing I have.
Okay, very good. I forgot two quick things. I was at the Lions Club meeting the other night, and they issued certificates of appreciation to all the folks that had helped with the Easter egg hunt. So that's for all of our city employees that helped with that.
It'll be shared. Thank you, Mayor.
And those of you that get Columbus Monthly, well, if you don't, I've got a copy here. Pataskala made Columbus Monthly, the COTC automated library, which there is only there's only 10 in the country. And there's one right here in good old Pataskala. So I have the article here in Columbus Monthly if you would like to see it. Mr. Zetz.
I have nothing, thank you, Mayor.
Mr. King.
Hey, thank you, Mayor. Just have a couple quick items. A couple I'll piggyback on since Nate is not here. In Nate's report, he provided to council the first draft of the sewer and water infrastructure management schedule, or also known as SWIMS. This is similar to what we did with the roads several years ago with identifying what is needed in our system. He identified what will be needed over a period of time, also when it should be done, not necessarily when it will be, and also costs associated with that. If you look at it combined, water and sewer, we have about $14 million worth of projects over the next time period that covers. Take a look at that. It is in draft form, but that certainly will help guide the budget process as well, and will also help guide as we start talking about the water and sewer fund. Next thing from Nate is the River Forest Lift Station. If you recall, council a couple of meetings ago authorized a contract for the River Forest Lift Station. It is well underway, and we anticipate that being online come within the next couple of days. It's gone well. Good contractor. I also want to report that our NPDES MS4, as we have to do every year for stormwater management, has been completed and was submitted on time. Thank you to all of staff for submitting stuff that their departments did for that. Certainly is a laborious exercise to get that done. We send in a good package every year to the EPA, and it seems appreciated. And the last thing I have is that in anticipation of the May 15th meeting, just want to let council know that we do anticipate on that agenda having legislation to seek authorization to bid the police station, and that'll be on May 15th. Happy to answer any questions, and as Tim mentioned as well, for the Parks and Rec workshop, if you have any questions, feel free to use me as a clearinghouse to get those to the Parks and Rec Board so they can anticipate those questions and have answers ahead of time. Thank you.
Anything for BJ? Thanks, sir. Oh, yes, Jamie. Oh, yeah, you're next. Don't worry.
He's excited.
Go ahead.
She got my glasses, so I was doing it.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. I have a couple things. One, the first thing is our preliminary draft of our audited financial statements is now with the auditors. Hope to have that wrapped up here by mid-May, and we'll be publishing the CAFR. We are taking the next step with our financial reporting this year. We're going to be issuing what's called a PAFR, Popular Annual Financial Report. It takes the complicated accounting information that's contained in the 285-page CAFR, condenses it down. You see school districts frequently use these financial reports. They're reports to the community that put the key information, fund balances, revenues, spending, what the financial condition of the city is in more user-friendly terms. It's a much smaller document, typically 8 to 12 pages, usually with graphs and some friendly information. We'll be working on that once we get approval for the CAFR. Once that's officially blessed by the auditors, then we'll get that out. And that'll be a distribution that will go out to the community once it's done. So I think it's a way to increase transparency in our financial reporting and demonstrate to the taxpayers that we're spending their money efficiently and effectively. So stay tuned. That'll be coming out here shortly. On the agenda tonight is a resolution authorizing or requesting that the administrator be authorized to enter into a lease agreement for replacement of the council copier. We use operating leases for our copiers because 4 years is about the useful life of a copier before maintenance becomes really expensive. And so this one has hit its 4 years, so we're asking to replace it pretty much with a comparable machine. It's just, swapping in, swapping it out. Budget planning, the finance committee, and I don't want to take Councilman Barca's thunder away, but we presented a preliminary budget schedule. We've made some tweaks, and I'll let him address it later, but I want to let you know that that's on the agenda, as well as the city administrator and I will be sitting down and coming up with some approaches to some strategic planning that we'd like to bring up to council at a future council meeting to discuss kind of the identification of where do you, as the body, where do you see the city in 1, 5, 10, 20 years from now? What is it? Where do you see the city going? And so that we can develop the budget and the initiatives and the infrastructure to support those goals. So that's kind of the next step in this evolution of enhancing the budgeting process, and I think it'll be a valuable tool for everybody. It's obviously going to be a multi-year approach. You're not going to come up with a comprehensive plan for the whole city in 1 year, but we'll take bites at it each year and enhance it every year and take it from there. And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Anything for Jamie? Yes, sir.
It's not a question, but it's a comment. I was happy to see. I assume you coordinated with the council's clerk on the fact that you needed the new copier and what.
Mm-hmm.
And I was happy to see that it looks like it's almost an even trade money-wise.
Basically,
A little bit
yes.
more on the price, but a little bit less on the
Usage.
on the agreement. So,
Correct.
just a quick comment. I appreciate that work.
Yep.
Okay, thank you, Jamie. Mr. Haynes.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple things to mention tonight. First off, a couple resolutions I've got on here for tonight. One is the ODOT winter salt contract. We had done resolution 032 here at the last meeting, but ODOT does have a specific resolution that they need with their exact language, and that's what this is for. So we'd already approved that. This is just in conjunction with that. The second one is for the Columbia Road Bridge project. That is to authorize the administrator to enter into the agreement to proceed with bidding and construction of the Columbia Road Bridge. That also comes with a little bit of the supplemental. It was originally $150,000 was our portion of that. That has increased to $170,000 and change. Also, for supplemental tonight, we have an emergency request for the Taylor Road culvert. I mentioned that in my report, but that's a 60-inch culvert just south of the tracks on Taylor Road. We found a sinkhole. We have stabilized the sinkhole, but noticing that, we found that the bottom of the culvert is rusted out. We've talked to some contractors, but have not got any proposals back yet. So we put a $50,000 placeholder in the supplemental to cover that, and $50,000 should cover that. Final thing I've got is some good news. We had the bid opening for the ramp this past Tuesday. We had 2 bids come in. Both were awardable. The apparent low is the Shelley Company. They were just underneath of the engineer's estimate. We expect to have a report from a city engineer on that for the Streets Committee next week and have that on for the next council meeting. All I have.
I have a quick question. When will the covers for the street fair electric boxes be put in? I had a neighbor ask me the other day about the metal boxes on Main Street. Do we have anything on that? I mean, have we located the? I think we're supposed to have some to go over it.
That is supplemental of the project, and
Okay.
we're still looking for one. Yeah, it is not. It was not bid out as part of the project, but once we saw the metal boxes,
Okay,
it was
so I
something
can
we
put my
looked at doing.
kids like good papers on it with little magnets until then.
Oh, but we continue to look at the dimensions and everything to see what
Okay.
we can get to
So
match
that's
the
something that's
poles.
still in the works.
Oh, no doubt
We're
about
still
it.
going to cover them.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're working on finding
That's kind of the whole
stuff that will
package.
match to cover it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
But that was not part of the project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else for Alan? Yes, sir.
To piggyback on that, the lights, how's that as far as getting AEP to?
We're still working with AEP.
To remove the lights that are down there, or the poles, or everything?
Poles, yeah, the lights that are on the wooden poles that are supposed to be buried.
We're doing 2 separate things. First of all, we're going to remove the lights ahead of time. We've provided all the pole numbers where the lights are, and it has been sent to their engineer to open up a project work order for those. I was told by our community our community liaison, it should be within the coming weeks, but we'll see. I'll keep with them. I know it's a busy time of year for them, and we'll see.
So is that?
That's just to remove the lights.
That's the lights. What about burying the electric?
And I'll let Alan touch on that.
When that got to AEP, they were going to actually stake the easements so that we could go out and speak with residents about what actually we were looking for easements. And it was discovered that there was a discrepancy in the right-of-way. So we're working with AEP and Stantec now to try and get that resolved.
No time frame.
No idea.
Is street fair reasonable, or is that just you can't give a?
Potentially.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
Any other questions for Alan? Thank you, sir. Mr. Fulton?
Thank you, sir. Just one quick thing. I've added a few more, or 2 additional items to the development update. That's the attachment to my report. One of those being Mr. Barstow's development, the new condos going in there. Also, Broadmoor Commons phases 2 and 3. Broadmoor Commons phase 1 just had the pre-construction meeting last week, so they're moving right along with that project. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Yes, sir.
I'll just ask real quick so that all of council knows. Can you tell everybody where Broadmoor Commons is?
Broadmoor Commons is on the south side of Broad Street between Mink and Summit. I believe there's a real estate development sign out there now. Just the closest intersection would be Daly Drive. So just west of that.
Thank you.
Anything else for Scott? Thank you, sir. Chief Brooks?
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to report that our Drug Take Back Day was 2 Saturdays ago, and we actually recovered 55.1 pounds of drugs off the streets and got them closed up 6.
And who helps us with that?
The Youth Leadership Council, it's a council made up of youth throughout all Licking County. We always have a really good turnout. We have kids from both school districts that can come and help do ours. They're run through pathways.
I think that's up from last year. We had like 30 pounds last year, so
Yes.
55 pounds, good. Good to get that off the street. Very good. Any questions for the chief? Okay, committee chair reports. Mr. Barstow.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Mr. Nicholson already discussed, the Finance Committee met this evening. We had a pretty big agenda. First of all, we do have the budget template, which the administration will be able to adhere to. Just some notes for council. we will be having a special council meeting on September 25th. That's a budget planning workshop. So it's September 25th at 6 p.m. We should have a draft of the budget out by then for you to look at, and that's an opportunity for all of us to ask questions, provide some guidance and some vision to the administration. And Mr. King and the mayor have pledged that they will have all the directors there to answer any questions. I think that's important that that's happened in the past. So that was one issue. The other things that we discussed was the RETA delinquency program. We've decided not to use the subpoenas, even though they were wildly popular when we did use them. We're just going to use the letters. We're just going to use the letters to get folks to get into compliance. We also discussed the possibility of bumping databases with our water and sewer department for potential residents who should be filing, who may not be filing, and also working with Southwest Community Water and Sewer to get their database to try to get as many people as we can who should be paying into the fold. Mr. King had.
Yeah, Todd, you're going to kill me, and my wife would probably kill me if I didn't mention this to you. It just struck me that September 25th, we will be on our 10-year anniversary trip.
She may have killed you.
I don't understand.
He's saying he's going to miss the trip, and it's going to be awkward.
Right. So if anybody wants a roommate, please let me know. I will not be available to attend the September 25th special council meeting, is what I'm saying.
But I just wrote it in my calendar and pen.
I apologize. It had just struck me as soon as I heard that date, and I know we talked about it before, but
At least you recognized it before September.
yeah.
You-
So if we want to, I can check our schedule and see when would be available. And
We
let
have
you
plenty of time, so yeah, let's look at that.
I'll do that.
We don't want to go any
Sorry
later.
about
We don't want
that.
to go a lot later
Proud
than
of you
that.
for noticing
I'll let you know
this
tomorrow.
early.
Okay, we can we
Hold
have
on.
plenty of time.
Yeah.
We can adjust
Sorry
that,
about
so
that.
That's okay.
Done. No, seriously, you remembered like months in advance.
So again, on RETA, we're just going to go with the letters sent out to folks who we believe should file, who should have filed but have not filed. So that we're not going to do it. We're not going to do the subpoena program. Jamie already talked about the strategic planning process. We did get an update on the police station funding. We're going to have legislation, I believe, the May 15th. We should be able to do that. That project, that process is going well, getting the funding out. That's good news. And I know that the administration's keeping a watchful eye on that because that again is it's a project we're paying for ourselves. There's no grant money or anything like that. This is the taxpayers funding that. And that was it. So, any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other committee chair reports? Yes, sir.
The only thing I'll say is at 5 p.m. on May 8th, a week from today, the street committee is scheduled to meet prior to the Parks workshop.
Which is, at 6 o'clock. Remember, we put it at 6. So
Parks
street
workshop
at
is
5,
at
and
6
the
and street
workshop's
committee at
6.
5. Yep, you got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, moving on. Old business ordinance 2017-4282 for a third reading.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hicken. Third reading. Kathy, when you're ready.
Ordinance 2017-4282, this is the third reading, an ordinance to amend section 1117.15 of the codified ordinances of the city of Pataskla and repeal all other ordinances and parts of the ordinances in conflict therewith.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Motion to adopt.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2017-4282.
Motion by Mr. Hicken, seconded by Mr. Barstow. Discussion and roll, please.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicken,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Howe,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Okay, ordinance passes. Ordinance 2017-4283 for a third reading.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow,
Second.
seconded by Mrs. Hayes. Kathy, when you're ready, third reading.
Ordinance 2017-4283. This is the third reading, an ordinance to establish a development payment in lieu of fund for the city of Pataskla.
Discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I'll move to adopt ordinance 2017-4283.
Motion by Mr. Barstow.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Powell. Discussion? And roll.
Hicken,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Ordinance passes. Ordinance 2017-4285 for a third reading.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Hicken.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Barstow. Kathy, when you're ready, third reading.
Ordinance 2017-4285. This is the third reading, an ordinance to prohibit medical marijuana cultivators, processors, and retail dispensaries licensed under the Ohio law from locating and/or doing business within the city of Pataskla, Ohio.
Mr. Mayor,
Mrs. Carter.
motion to table ordinance 2017-4285.
Have a motion to table. Looking for a second.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Mr. Barstow. Have to do a vote.
Oh, you got to vote.
Okay. So I have a motion. Any discussion on the motion table? Kathy, when you're ready.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
No.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicken,
No.
Okay, the motion to table 2017-4285 has passed. It's now tabled. Ordinance 2017-4284 for a second reading.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Moved by Mr. Hicken, seconded by Mr. Barstow. Kathy, when you're ready, second reading.
Ordinance 2017-4284. This is the second reading, an ordinance to rezone the property located at 280 South Main Street, parcel number 064-30993-00.000 from the single family, or from the village single family residential R7 zoning classification to downtown business DB zoning classification.
Any discussion? Okay, ordinance 2017-4286 for a second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Hicken. Kathy, when you're ready, second reading.
Ordinance 2017-4286. This is the second reading, an ordinance to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to amend ordinance 2017-4286 by substitution.
Got a motion to amend by Mr. Barstow,
Second. Well,
seconded by Mrs. Carter. Discussion? Okay, roll on the motion to amend.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Hicken,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Okay, motion to amend passes. Any other discussion on 2017-4286? Okay. New business, ordinance 2017-4287 for a first reading.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Hicken. Kathy, when you're ready.
Ordinance 2017-4287. This is the first reading, an ordinance to approve current replacement pages to the Pataskla Codified Ordinances.
Any discussion? Ordinance, on to resolutions. Resolution 2017-035, a resolution authorizing participation in the ODOT winter contract 018-18 for road salt.
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Mr. Higgins, seconded by Mr. Barstow. Discussion? And roll.
Hicken,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2017-036, a resolution authorizing the final agreement for the Columbia Road Bridge Replacement Project, ODOT Project ID number 96471, and directing the payment of the city's cost share of $170,300 to the Ohio Department of Transportation.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Lee. Discussion and roll.
Higgins,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2017-037, a resolution authorizing and directing the city administrator to enter into and execute an operating lease agreement with Konica Minolta Business Systems and Konica Minolta Premier Finance for the replacement of an existing city copier and the associated maintenance agreement.
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Barstow,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Powell. Discussion and roll.
Carter,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow,
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Resolution passes. Any motions tonight? Okay, additional citizens' comments. Anybody wish to speak? You have 3 minutes. Seeing none, we'll go around the round. So we'll start with you, Mrs. Carter.
Janice has already left, so if you could pass it along to her. She helped out my Brianna filing her very first ever tax return, which I refused to help her with because she has to act like a grown-up sometime. So I told her to call Janice, and she did, and came up and sat with Janice, and she helped her. So I greatly appreciate that.
She told me she helped her out.
Brianna appreciates it too. So, and
I will let her know.
thank you. And I'm glad you guys got Kathy a new copier. I understand that kind of pain. So
She's been handwriting for years.
it's the bane of my existence at the school is the copier. So
That Gutenberg press finally wore out, didn't it, Kathy?
yes.
that's all I have.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All righty. Mr. Barstow.
I don't have anything, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lee.
I don't have anything tonight.
Wow, Mr. Hicken.
I would say kudos to Kathy, of course. The other thing I would remind everybody that tomorrow is an election day. There's some significant things on the ballot. I know I'm going to go out and support my schools. I hope everybody goes out and exercises their rights. It's both a right and a privilege. And just a reminder that polls will be open tomorrow.
And I just have a quick reminder, it's time to start thinking about your pool membership. Make sure you get your check to Andy or Ann for the pool. And our local Lions Club will be serving food this Saturday at the Super Duty Truck Parts Truck Show in Newark. So all day Saturday. So please come out and enjoy that after you've had ice cream at the Cones and Concoctions. Whee! Sugar high for everybody. Mr. Zetch, you got anything?
I have nothing.
Mrs. Hayes.
Always. I would like to congratulate the YMCA. My mom took my daughter there on Saturday, and they had a blast at their YMCA Fitness Day. It was like a kickoff to summer, and they presented various options of all the different programs that they present to the community, and my daughter had a blast. She came home a ninja. She came home a gymnast. She wants to sign up for everything that they offer. It was great, and so she avoided another day of full-day rugby from the Hayes family. I am in the process of editing this year's Story Walk, so a big thank you to Branham Signs and the library for supporting the Story Walk. That is, they do a fantastic job down at Branham. So I just got the draft today, going through it, and it's going to be another fun one. And I mirror what Tim said, just to get out and exercise your right to vote. And I look forward to supporting my employer, my schools, where my kids and their future is. So. And good luck to both school districts.
Story Walk date again, please.
Story Walk, I would love to see everyone. It is May 25th, which is a Thursday, down at the park at 6 p.m. at Municipal. Jeff at the library does a great job of getting a lot of different community organizations to come down. We've had the health department, the police department comes down. We've had the fire department. We have a lot of groups that give away free things. This year's theme is Art in the Park. So it focuses on the kids' love of the parks. And they studied artists in history of different spaces and different types of parks, from pointillism to abstract. And the kids there's a lot of kids involved. We usually have about 17 artists and 17 panels. This year, in addition to the 17 artists, we collected quotes from the kids. And so their thoughts are going to be kind of embedded in the artwork, and how much what they value in the parks. So we have close to probably over 50 kids actually involved in this year's project. And the only answer to that was May 25th at 6 p.m. Sorry. I get excited about it. It's really
fine.
cool. I'm so sorry. Go ahead, next.
I actually forgot a date. Next, the 11th, May 11th, is the library and the zoo collaboration. If you remember that from last year, it was a huge success. The zoo brought out some animals. The parking lot was full, and I've asked Mr. King and Mr. Haynes to supply the library with some cones. They've got some. They know they're going to need additional parking, so we can get some cones
In the
to them.
works.
May 11th at 6 o'clock.
Thank you.
So the zoo and the library. All right, Mr. Powell.
Get out and vote tomorrow. Also, I want to say thanks to everyone who came and spoke tonight. I know it's not easy, but it's important for a functioning democracy, and it helps with discussion, generate thoughts that we may not have thought about. And trust me, I know it's not easy to get and speak, despite my sitting here. See, I can't even get my words out. I'm the same way. I stand, my voice shakes, but awesome that you guys came out and spoke. Both sides, we really appreciate it. And with that, I move we adjourn.
Second. Got a motion to adjourn and a second. Any discussion? And roll, please.
Powell,
Yes.
Hayes,
Yes.
Barstow.
Yes.
Lee,
Yes.
Pickens,
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
I mean, really? You guys
Did
kidding me?
everything pass? All right.
Why are the ones we get out of